Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to talk to you guys really quickly about line check. So I had my line check, I want to say 5 months after being hired. They sent me an email about a week before line check, and they will say, hey, you have a trip coming up on this day. This will be your line check. Make sure you have all your required items. Yeah, that's what was in the email. So of course, naturally being any new flight attendant, I was super nervous and I was like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna get fired because I don't know what I'm doing. Even though I've been doing it for the past 5 months, like not even sure why I even had that mindset, but I'm here to tell you guys to relax. If you've been doing your job and reading the manual and following directions for the past 5 months or however many months, then you will be prepared for line check. So the day of line check, it got canceled. So my first one actually got canceled. I don't know what happened. I think the line check holder, whatever, let's just call her the instructor, the lead instructor, I think that's what they call them, the lead, she canceled. So they rescheduled me for like 2 weeks after that. So got rescheduled. Overall line check was fine. The one thing that I was super nervous about was checking the equipment. I don't know why, but I was just like, oh my God, what if I forget something? What if I freeze? But you honestly can use your IOM to help you. So it's not like how it was in training where you had to memorize that stuff and memorize where it's at and to check for and what to look for. You have the material in your hand and you can use it. So that's why I'm reassuring you guys that, lower your anxiety. You have all the tools you need to be successful and you can actually use them. My instructor, she was very nice, she was friendly, she was cool, very inviting. When she came on the plane, she just emphasized that she needs to be there before I close the door on the ERJ. And she was like, because if the slide comes out, she gets fired. And that gave me a lot of anxiety because obviously if she gets fired, I get fired. And nobody wants to get fired. So, and that was during the time where it was within the same week that like 5 people let the slide come out on accident. So yeah, so I was like super nervous about that. So I was moving in slow motion, opening the door as if it was my first time ever opening and closing the door because I didn't want the slide to come out. The slide didn't come out, so we're good to go. That was about it. She was only there for 2 legs. So one leg, I think we were going to like Oklahoma City and coming back. So just those 2 legs. So by the grace of God, it wasn't like, the whole 4-day trip, which it should never be. It should just be 2 legs, honestly. From what I've seen and heard, it's only just 2 legs there and back, and then you're done. The one thing she did tell me is that my mask, like the mask that we wear, I had like it wasn't super colorful, but it was colorful, if you will. And she told me that we can only have a solid color mask, either the blue or black one or the company one, which I did not know that. So for y'all in the future, make sure your mask is, the color that it needs to be. And I also didn't have my apron because I left it on the plane and somebody had it in Chicago and I have not made my way to Chicago to go get it. So that was another thing she asked me about. So make sure you guys have your apron for line check. You should have your apron all the time, but definitely have it for line check. I would personally consider it being smoother than IOE. Like, it was smooth, no issues. Now that was my experience. literally like maybe 2 weeks later, I was getting on the plane and the forward flight attendant, she was having her line check. So I was like, okay, I'm telling her like, yeah, like I just had mine, it was cool, like you'll be fine. Y'all, this is the part where you need to pay attention because her instructor was not the one to play with. Like, that instructor was so strict and so by the book. Like, it made me nervous, and I'm like, I already passed. Like, I don't know why I'm getting nervous, because this is not a test for me. Like, it's a test for the forward flight attendant. So I don't know why I was getting nervous, but that's how intense her line check was. Like, I felt bad for her. I was like, oh my God. Basically, when we got on the plane, so I was already on the plane. We'll just call the forward flight attendant, we'll call her like Sally. Okay, so Sally's in the front, and then the instructor comes on, and then the instructor like was super nice, like, you know, appeared to be very cool in the beginning, and then like it was like a switch. She was like, okay, like you need to be checking things, you need to check the lights, you need to, like, telling her like, okay, you need to begin, like, now, I'm observing you, start now. So she's like, did you do this? Did you do that yet? Like, just kind of like on her. So I was like, oh. And then she was looking at her uniform, and she was like, I see you didn't iron your uniform. It has a lot of wrinkles. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, which, she had a few wrinkles, but like, I didn't know that the wrinkles count for line checks. So make sure your uniform is ironed. I iron my clothes, so that wouldn't apply to me anyway. I don't like having wrinkly clothes. Hers did have a few wrinkles in there, I'm not gonna lie, but apparently that's on the line checklist. So she was like, you need to make sure you iron your clothes. So that was like the first thing before we even boarded. So it's like, you are like, she already had like this like demeanor, like, I'm grading you right now and you're already not up to par and we haven't even started. So just imagine someone like on your neck, like, your clothes are wrinkly, but continue. So I was just like, oh, okay. Anyways, I go to the back, I do my job, I do all my pre-check stuff. She's in the front doing her pre-check. I don't know what conversation is being had between them, or what other constructive criticism this instructor is giving her during this time, right? Sorry, I'm watching the time because I do have to get ready for work. But anyways, so then it's time to board. When it's time to board, I'm in the back saying my announcements, yada yada yada. Okay, so as the passengers were boarding, all of a sudden the line just stopped, and it just stopped, and I was like, what's going on? And so the forward flight attendant calls me, and she's like, hey, do you know what's going on? And I'm like, no, I thought you knew what was going on, because the Holt was like further up the aircraft than in the back, if that makes sense. So she was just like, I don't know what's going on either. So I'm just like, okay. So I was like, okay, well, let me go see. Hang up the phone. Before I could even walk up there, the lead instructor, who's sitting in the exit row, she gets up and she's like, what's going on? Why is there a hole? Like, she just seems super annoyed. Like, what y'all doing? Sit down, sit down. Apparently, I don't know why these passengers were acting so dumb on the plane that day, but literally like 5 different passengers were not sitting in their correct seat, which is why it made the line not move. I've never had that happen before. Like, out of all days, I don't know why these passengers decided to, it was just not a good day for that forward flight attendant, because when I tell y'all, it was a big, I don't know, it was people that were supposed to be in seat 6 were sitting in seat 4, and it's like, where did you see that on your boarding pass? What are you doing? So it was just a whole thing. So we get that squared away. Everyone finally sits in their correct seat. I don't know, I guess there was like some back and forth with, not back and forth, but you know, conversation between the forward flight attendant and the instructors. I was like, oh, for this flight to be a line check, it was not going off to a good start. Something else happened, and I don't remember what happened because it happened a while ago, but if I remember, I'll put it down in the comments. Anyways, so the instructor is sitting in the exit row. We're finally leaving, and I go walk up to the front to, I don't know, I think I was throwing some trash away, but I walk up to the front, and like the forward flight attendant, she was like, she just was like super nervous, and I was like, girl, like relax, like it'll be okay. And she was like, the instructor, I guess she was walking past the instructor, and the instructor was like, is that a tattoo? Y'all, when she said that, I was like, this is what the forward flight attendant told me, that the instructor seen her tattoo. And I was like, like, that's not good. That's not good. Like, but I didn't say that to her. I was just like, you need to cover up your tattoo and just, you know, be nice, do your job, don't talk back, like just play your role at this point, because you're not supposed to have any visible tattoos. Like, just off the strength of that, you can get fired. And it, like I said, it already wasn't, the flight already was not going how it needed to be. So for her to have a tattoo, I was like, yo, you need more than luck. You need prayer, patience, and I don't know, girl, but good luck, bye. I'm gonna go to the back, and I'm gonna, you know, mind my business, because this has nothing to do with me at this point, because it was just too much. And then on top of that, the lead instructor, she was like at the front, and I just happened to like walk past her seat, right? And I seen her notes about the line check. You know, I was just like, you know, let me just take a peek at it. Y'all, the first line of her note, first of all, she had a page of notes. Let's start there. So I was like, why do you have a page of notes? And we've literally been on this plane for 20 minutes. She had a page of notes. The first line of her note says, boarding was horrible. I was like, thank God this is not my line check, because like, this actually may or may not be her last day. Like, I'm actually nervous for her. Like, so, and I'm only telling y'all this because that was a complete 180 from my line check. Like, my instructor was not like that. That wasn't what happened. So I'm just like, I was really shocked that the whole thing, everything that could go wrong was going wrong on that flight. And I was just like, this is so unfortunate. Like, I really hope she doesn't lose her job. So the flight, we finally got to our destination. They had their talk, everything like that. And then of course the flight back was even more like cutthroat, because it's like, now I told you everything you need to do. When we get back, you better do it right. I just stayed in my lane. I was like, let me just not even, I don't even, it was just too much heat over there. So I was just like, I'm just gonna stay on my side. We came back. What appeared, everything seemed to be fine. I think it ended up being fine. Like, I believe she still works now to this day, but it was a nerve-wracking experience. That's what I will say. super nerve-wracking. And the instructor was more of like, she was definitely doing her job. I will say that she was doing her job, and she did follow up with constructive criticism. But I mean, the faults that she found were things that we need to do correctly, or things that are in the handbook that we should know, or that she should know rather. So, you know, it's not like she was being mean, if that makes sense, but it was a different experience than what I experienced. So that's why I'm sharing it with you guys now. So, you know, either your line check will be like mine or it'll be like Sally's. So, you know, you just never know. What I also wanted to point out was a couple of things that this instructor told both of us as a heads up, just things that we can get fired for, things that she has failed a line check for. If you fail your line check, you do get fired. Yeah, you do get fired. So I'm gonna share these things with you guys so that you are aware. So absolutely no sleeping in your jump seat. No sleeping, period. No sleeping in your jump seat. No reading non-company material in your jump seat. So that means don't have a book, don't have an ebook, none of that. Don't even have your phone in the jump seat, basically. Just have your work phone and put your hands in your lap and read when you're supposed to read, and then put the phone up and just stare. That's it. Do not step off the aircraft until all the passengers are off the aircraft. Every single last one of them, because that's a FAR, and yeah, you can get fired for that. No AirPods while working. Basically, actually no AirPods, no earphones while in uniform, if you want to be very specific. Yeah, you'll get fired. Do not move people to the exit row or if they didn't pay for the seat, whether it's first class or main cabin extra, if they didn't pay for it, do not move them to the seat. However, if it's the other way around, where it's like first class wants to move to main cabin, then they can do that. But it cannot be the other way around. You can get fired for that. Oh, and make sure you make the seatbelt announcement when it goes on and off. If the pilot or first officer does not make that announcement, it falls on you and you need to do it. And if you don't do it, you fire. Like, that's all I got so far on little things that you can, you know, lose your job over. So I hope that you guys listen to all these tips, and yes, go into your line check, you know, not having anxiety, of course, but I did want to share that story because mine went great, hers went a little wacky, but she's still working, she's still here today. But it's just like, you know, you want to follow the rules, and if you have a tattoo, no one needs to ever know that you have a tattoo, because she did mention that again, that it needs to be covered up at all times. So yeah, so those are all my tips. That's what I learned from line check. Y'all have any questions, ask me in the comments below. Let me know what you guys want to see. I do have some more content coming, but if you have anything that you would like to see, let me know, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.